Hello Cedar Crest Chargers, this is Mr. Wallace. Today's video is solving one-step equations. And we have two examples. We have example one, which is using addition or subtraction. And then example two, I've provided two. One is with multiplication and one is with division. Let me start off by saying our entire goal of this is to find the value of the unknown number x. It's called the variable x. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at the expression x. There is what it equals. And I'm going to split this into two sides. It's going to be pretty important that you guys understand the two sides. On the left, the expression is x minus 7. And so what we do to get this started is that we want to look at what's happening. We want to look at the action. And the action here, what's happening to the variable, as you can clearly see, is 7 is being subtracted from it, minus 7. So the way that we go about solving this, or finding the value of x, is to apply inverse operations. The operation right now is minus 7. What is the inverse of that, or the opposite of that? Plus 7. Our goal in algebra is to what we say, isolate the variable. And so we have to mathematically remove the numbers around the x. In this case, it's minus 7. So we want to get rid of minus 7. But because it's a balanced equation, you guys would admit that 2 equals 2. And so if I want this equation to be true, if I do anything on the left-hand side, I have to do the exact same thing on the right-hand side, so it's still a true equation. So please understand, that's why we drew a line down the center, so that you understand there's two sides. So the inverse operation to minus 7 is, in fact, plus 7. And you are going to have to do that both sides to make sure that the equation is balanced. Now what happens here is, when you see this, when we see negative 7 and positive 7, that makes 0. And what happens is that basically goes bye-bye, and it leaves us with x, right? So what is x? X is whatever happens over here. X equals negative 6 plus 7, and that equals 1. So Chargers, in this problem, we say that the value of x equals 1. Okay, so how do we know we're right? How do we know we're right? We're going to take this value of 1, and we're going to put it right here, and we're going to see if that's a true statement. Is 1 minus 7, is that negative 6? Yes, it is. All right, now we're going to move to example 2, which is solving equations using multiplication or division. Again, I'm going to create this two sides with this line here on both of these. So let's take a look at 3x. What does that mean? What is the mathematical action? What's happening to the x? And so on this one, it is being multiplied by 3. All right. So again, we want to apply an inverse operation. And what we want to do is we want to undo that or cancel that out. So if x is being multiplied by 3, we're going to divide all that by 3 because it's the inverse operation. And remember, we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. What happens is that 3 divided by itself makes 1, right? And so that simplifies to 1x. What happens is that we say they cancel out. 1x is x. What's 1 times 3? 3. What's 1 times 5? 5. What's 1 times x? It's simply x. And what is x? X is whatever the end result is of this dividing by 3 over here. 9 divided by 3, in fact, is 3. And again, we want to double check all that, right? Is x 3? Let's make sure, let's substitute this 3 right here for x. Is 3 times 3 9? Yes, it is. We know that that is correct. The problem on the right is division. It is a division problem. X divided by 2. And so you can see the action here, divided by 2. The inverse of that is times 2. I'm going to rewrite this. That's how the calculator or the computer wrote it. I'm going to write it like this in fractional form because I want you to be able to see this. X divided by 2 equals 10. So I just rewrote that. And so the action here is divided by 2, as you can see that. That's what that means. X over 2 means x divided by 2. What is the opposite of dividing by 2? Or, what is the inverse of that? It's multiplying by 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this times 2, and we're going to multiply the 10 times 2. And again, like on the left, what happens is that this gives us 2x divided by 2, and hopefully you can see right here 2 divided by itself. All right? And any number divided by itself is 1. That is 1x, which is x. And what is x? It is whatever this becomes. 2 times 10 is 20. So we have this problem where we believe that our solution is 20. We may think we've done everything right, but here's how we know. Again, we're going to plug this back in. X equals 20. We say that that equals 20, so we're going to put that in where x is right here. And that's 20 divided by 2. Is that 10? Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay, so that 20 is correct. That means that we have found the correct solution for x. And that is how you solve one-step equations with multiplication, division, or addition and subtraction.